Hey everyone, Jeff here from Films at Home, and on today's episode of Home Video History, we're going to be diving into the world of Jurassic Park. Now, I don't think I need to explain Jurassic Park much to many of you movie lovers out there because it is simply one of the biggest franchises of all time with over $5 billion in total revenue. We've got animated spin-offs, we've had numerous sequels, a sequel trilogy, 5 different movies as of now, with the 6th movie, Jurassic World Dominion, coming out next month, June of 2022. One of the biggest media franchises of all time. So the story of Jurassic Park begins in 1993 when it was released theatrically, and it had massive success. It was the highest grossing film of all time at that point in time, actually beating out Steven Spielberg's own E.T. from 1982. It was a worldwide phenomenon, and it really was a technical marvel as well. This movie had some of the best mix of practical effects and visual CGI effects that have probably ever been seen. In fact, even today, I comment all the time as to why movies in 2022 have worse effects than Jurassic Park had in 1993. It won an Oscar for Best Sound Effects, Best Sound, and Best Visual Effects. So audio and visual on this one was super important, and it was a huge piece of this movie. So in 1994, October 4th to be exact, we got the first home video release of Jurassic Park, and it was a VHS and a Laserdisc release on the same day. Now, this release was full screen, pan and scan. It was not a widescreen release. It was formatted down to shrink to the size of your typical 4:3 aspect ratio TV, which what most people had at their homes at the time. Now, Jurassic Park did huge numbers, especially on VHS. It's actually the 5th best-selling VHS tape of all time. These VHS and Laserdisc especially, super expensive. It was $50 plus in 1994 dollars. I mean, that would be like paying $100 for a Blu-ray right now. Crazy expensive. So keep that in context when you're buying Blu-rays for $20 or $30. Now, 1995, the next year, was actually a pretty big year for Jurassic Park as well because it had a TV release for the first time in 95. On May 7th of 1995, Jurassic Park premiered for the first time on cable television on NBC. It had a 36% share of the market, which is crazy. 68.12 million people watched Jurassic Park on NBC on the night of May 7th. An insane number. You'd never see that today, but at the time, very popular to watch those movies on NBC, ABC, the sort of Friday, Saturday night movie of the week. Jurassic Park dominated there. It was actually the best rated broadcast television movie premiere since 1987, and I would not have guessed this. Trading Places, which was the biggest before Jurassic Park. That's very surprising to me. Also in 1995, there was a Laserdisc release, which was not the movie itself, but closely related. There's a documentary called The Making of Jurassic Park, which is pretty popular and was a very big deal in the 90s. It actually played on NBC before Jurassic Park played on TV, just the week before, and that got its own Laserdisc in 1995. So that's kind of interesting. It didn't have special features on the Laserdisc. It got its own release on Laserdisc, The Making of Jurassic Park. Now in 1997, this is where we saw the first leap to some high quality Jurassic Park home video with the VHS and Laserdisc widescreen THX certified releases on September 9th of 1997. Now, this was the first time you could own Jurassic Park in widescreen or letterboxed format, where they actually showed you the full aspect ratio and put those black bars on the top and the bottom of your screen. This was also a very big Laserdisc release in 97 because it was one of the first DTS sound mixes that you could own on home video. This Laserdisc from 97, it was very much towards the end of the Laserdisc days, and I don't think a lot of them were printed because it's become sort of a rare collector's item compared to the 1994 Laserdisc, which I even have in my collection. I think I got for like $2. Now, we don't get another release until the year 2000, October 10th, when we get another VHS release, no more Laserdisc at this point, but we also get a DVD release. This was released in both widescreen and full screen formats, which is kind of interesting, but it didn't include that DTS soundtrack. It had a Dolby Digital 5.1, which was popular on DVD at the time, but it kind of dropped that DTS sound, which is why that Laserdisc is probably so collectible. Now, this was the first DVD release in the year 2000, and it was a pretty big seller. It sold almost 1 million copies in the year 2000, even though it was released in October. It was a big release for the holiday season. A lot of people picked this up, and just imagine 1 million DVDs selling in just 3 months. That's sort of unheard of today, unless you're Marvel or like maybe Spider-Man No Way Home. But that was a very big release. And so it was also released actually as part of a box set with Jurassic Park: The Lost World, and it included some soundtracks. So there was sort of this double feature you could buy, because at that point, we didn't have Jurassic Park 3 yet. Then, when Jurassic Park 3 was released in 2001, they re-released on DVD the Jurassic Park trilogy in December of 2001, just in time for the holiday season. So, unfortunately for those people who bought the double feature set, you now could buy the trilogy set just 1 year later. Now, we don't get another release of Jurassic Park until October 8th of 2004, and that is a 15th anniversary DVD release. This was also packaged as part of a Jurassic Park Adventure Pack the next year, which is kind of weird. They keep repackaging Jurassic Park, and we'll see this throughout the format. So the next big release of Jurassic Park was the Blu-ray release, where we got the first HD master on home video. That came out on October 25th of 2011 and had a pretty good sales number. It debuted at number 5 on the Blu-ray charts, and it got a few nominations for Best Release of the Year. This was a remastered HD version of the movie, and it included DTS HD. So we dropped back from Dolby Digital back to that DTS HD soundtrack. Now, in 2012, Jurassic Park was re-released on Blu-ray, even though it had just been released the year before, and it was a part of a 25 film set chosen by Universal to celebrate Universal's 100th anniversary. Now, this 100th anniversary for Universal also featured some standalone Blu-rays with their own slipcovers. So Jurassic Park got one of those individual releases, and it was one of the 25 films that was chosen by Universal for their big box set. Now, 2013 was a big year for Jurassic Park because this was the 20th anniversary, and for the 20th anniversary, the movie was remastered in 3D with a new 3D conversion that was overseen by Steven Spielberg. That was re-released in theaters and actually did pretty well. It made some good money to go see that 3D version in movie theaters, and people seemed to like it, I think. And to follow that up, there was a 20th anniversary 3D Blu-ray, which was released back in 2013. At that point, 3D Blu-ray was still pretty big. Avatar had kind of reinvented 3D in 2009, and the 3D Blu-ray format was fairly strong at that point. But that's now probably a hard disc to find because there aren't many Blu-ray 3Ds being made anymore. Now, in 2018, and this probably tied in both with the film's 25th anniversary, but also with the new Jurassic World trilogy that was going around, Universal made sure to release a 4K box set with Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, The Lost World, and Jurassic Park 3. So even though the Jurassic World trilogy wasn't finished, they put that out on 4K in May of 2018 for the original film's 25th anniversary. That release featured DTS-X sound, which was the Dolby Atmos equivalent for DTS. So they really took it to the next level with 4K in terms of the sound, but unfortunately, the video transfers are not some of the best. I think they look good. They still look better than the Blu-ray, but a lot of people have really been clamoring for a new 4K restoration because those don't have Dolby Vision, they don't have HDR10+, and it looks like maybe they could have been done better, especially given that Jurassic Park was shot on film and should have plenty of high-resolution original negatives to work with. But actually, just this week, as I'm making this video in May of 2022, we got standalone releases for Jurassic Park and all of the sequels. So previously you could only buy that as part of the 4K box set and you had to buy all 4 of the movies. Now you can get them individually with their own individual slipcovers, and Jurassic Park has its own individual release. but they still have not upgraded the visuals. It's the same visual transfer, does have the DTS-X audio, which is great, but this is a movie that really deserves somebody to take a hard look at it and do some real remastering to make it look pretty. But that is pretty much the history of Jurassic Park on home video. A little bit shorter than some of the other movies I've done because it's newer. We don't have to go all the way back to the 70s or 80s with this one. We're just starting in the 90s, right in the heyday of VHS and Laserdisc. But this is it. This is the home video history. So, let me know if you think I missed anything. I'd be curious if you guys have any of the Laserdiscs or maybe that DTS Laserdisc, because that's a really nice release. And I'd also love to hear your thoughts on what you think about the 4K, because I honestly think it could be a little better. It's pretty good, but I'd really like to see them do a full remaster. So that's it for Jurassic Park. Thank you again, guys, for voting in the YouTube community post. You guys voted for Jurassic Park, so that's the next one I did. I appreciate all the people who voted on that, and I will certainly be covering those other movies that I put in that survey as well. So stay tuned for more episodes of Home Video History. If you don't want to miss any, make sure you subscribe and have your notifications on. And also make sure to follow us on social media. All the links are in the description, as well as links to the Films at Home podcast, where we're having great guests on every week talking movies, home theater, physical media. So you don't want to miss that either. Appreciate you all listening and watching. I know you guys enjoy these videos, so I will definitely continue to make more of them. So stay tuned for those. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, stay healthy out there, and I will talk to you all soon.